Today's January 20th, and today's quote is entitled, "Stick to your principles," and this is another one of Prabhupada's recipes for success, which we should adopt in our lives. Do not compromise, even if you could and no one would know, or even if it would produce the results you need. And never compromise that you can do whatever you like and you become my disciple. So this is important because sometimes we're in a situation, if we say, well, if we just did this, we could get the result we want. And that this is a compromise in some way of our own integrity or the principles of Krishna consciousness or the way we're preaching Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said, yes, if I compromised, I could make many, many more disciples. But his goal wasn't to make many, many more disciples. His goal was to make disciples who will go back to Godhead to give Krishna consciousness. So my personal commitment and personal belief, and based on what I've seen in Prabhupada, and as what Prabhupada said, is that the real Shakti is in the purity. So you can water it down to get more followers, but then you lose the purity. So Prabhupada's Shakti was the purity, that he didn't compromise, and we see the results. The results are amazing, and the more we compromise, maybe we'll get some immediate result, but in the long run, we won't. We'll lose out. So I like to see compromise like a circle. So here's the circle, and within the circle is Krishna consciousness, dharmic activity, the right attitudes, the right preaching, everything is proper. And outside the circle is the compromise. But it may look like some of the results we want are outside the circle. And so, well, if I could just do this, then, okay, I would be successful. Actually, one devotee was failing in a restaurant they have. And they live in an area where there's not many people interested in being vegetarian. And she said, we're running out of money. And I started contemplating, maybe I should sell meat. And Krishna saved her from that and offered her a position at another restaurant. But the point is, we should never think about compromising our principles to be so-called successful, because once you go outside that circle of Dharma, that so-called success is your failure. And if you stay within the circle of Dharma, even if you're not successful, you're successful. And we could say, okay, maybe Krishna doesn't want me to be successful in this way. And so we can understand that there's certain things about Krishna consciousness that everyone in the world is just not going to adopt or accept, and we can't change those things. We can adapt in many, many ways in our personal life and in preaching to make it easier for people to be Krishna conscious, but there's a certain point where we can adapt, and that's when we go outside the circle of Dharma. And to think that going outside of that will be successful is a huge mistake, and the reactions are just horrible. Don't even think about it. It's just, we have to stay within Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and have faith that if we do that, ultimately, that will produce the greatest success. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.